Eating healthy in Nigeria is becoming increasingly difficult as soaring food prices push balanced diet out of reach of many. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the average cost of a healthy meal has hit 1,035 naira. That's in April 2024, up to 982 naira the previous month from that, with the southwest region averaging 1,400 naira per day, all beyond the reach of most households. Meanwhile, staples like rice, once considered affordable, have seen steady inflation, reducing the capacity of families to maintain dietary variety and essential, intake. Now, as costs spiral, Nigerians are gravitating toward cheaper, calorie-dense, but nutrient-poor alternatives, fried snacks, instant noodles, and refined staples, raising risk of malnutrition, obesity, and related health issues. With limited incomes and insufficient nutrition education, many are eating just to fill their stomachs, leaving critical food groups like vegetables, for instance, and also lean proteins out, and wholesome grains as well, underrepresented in their daily meals. So, rising food costs are forcing Nigerians to choose between affordability and nutrition, sacrificing health for satiety. I'd rather be satisfied than, live healthy. With staple foods like rice filling plates but not nourishing bodies, we're facing a very public health crossroad here, requiring smarter shopping, better nutrition awareness, and also policy action to restore dietary balance.
And so joining us to discuss this is practical solutions is Ifedayo Osuntuyi, hopefully I got that correctly. He's a seasoned pharmacist and he has a deep insight into nutrition and public health. Ifedayo, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome, Ifedayo. Judith.
Is that it?
Ifedayo Osuntuyi.
There we go. Yeah.
You also forgot to mention that he's a baker as well.
Oh yeah, there we go. Confectionery. Love that. We love a man who knows the way around his kitchen, especially when he's speaking. We love that.
Thank you.
Paul, this is a very important discussion that we're having, right?
Yes.
Just because we know that the cost of living crisis affects everybody, all right? A lot of people think it's just the lower middle class or the lower class, which, well, of course, duly, but also we're now seeing the numbers also increase, and there's a widening gap. The middle class continues to widen, and so people are not making the right decision, in our entry there. So how best, what are the solutions, but what are the patterns that you're seeing as a health advocate and also working in public health as well? What are the patterns that we're seeing?
Well, the first thing is this. What I always tell people is that everybody has a choice. We live in a country whereby, yes, we know the standard of living is dropping every day, but you still have a choice. There are risk factors when it comes to the kind of lifestyle you embark upon. So it's up to you to decide that, okay, I want to live long, I want to live healthy, I want to have an optimum life. So the risk factor is what will guide you in living a very optimal health lifestyle. One of the things I discovered in my practice as a pharmacist, because I've worked in, first of all, pharmacy has different branches. There's the clinical part, there's the retail, that's where you go to your local pharmacy around your area to buy medications. And I've worked in those two major parts. One thing I discovered is that a lot of Nigerians, because of healthcare costs, we find it difficult to go for tests to ascertain how well our body is. Yes, so you discover that a lot of people are having debilitating medical conditions that have gone beyond repair, and they have to go through some necessary medical interventions that will cost them. But if they've been empowered with the right information to prevent such conditions, they won't have to spend so much in managing a condition that might not be cured, but just managing it. So with that reason, it spurred me to realize that people need to be educated on how to live a healthier lifestyle. But
how can you do that? How can you do that with the present
So like I said, everybody has a choice. Now,
we don't have choice.
Let me remind him of minimum wage and about the rice fees. What's the difference?
And I'm sorry to cut you, right? Because I want to paint this picture for you, okay? So hopefully you see what I'm talking about. So I'm a mother.
Yes.
3 children. I have a growing boy. Okay, and a growing boy means that man is a wolf. He's eating. He could eat off the roof if he can.
Yes.
There's also a daughter who is a picky eater as well, and so I have to force her to eat vegetable. And there's another who just does not like to eat food, would rather eat junks, right? And that means that person enjoys snacking. There's also daddy as well, who likes his swallow, because that's now it's working really hard. Swallow is what he enjoys. Okay. there's also the cost of living crisis. So what I want to do is to make sure that I'm buying food that I can preserve.
Yes.
Okay. I'm making sure that the portions are right so that my growing children and the one that clearly is a wolf is not going to eat down the entire house. And I also do have to save as well for tomorrow. So what do? I'm going to get stews and soups as opposed to salads, you know, or as opposed to, you know, remember there's a picky eater who doesn't like vegetable, and there's another one who I have to force to eat. They're not going to eat vegetable. And daddy would rather, because daddy is stressed out, daddy would rather have his swallow and all his heavy carbs as opposed to vegetables. So where's the choice?
Okay, so now, I'm going to play an illustration. Now, when you have a car, and your car breaks down.
I don't use car now.
No. Let me explain something to you. The reason I said choice is this. People tend to want to give excuses for the reasons they make some decisions. But now, if you realize that, okay, this body that I have is the only one I have. You know, like when you have a machine, you can replace a part. You can replace, if you have an engine, you can replace. But your body now, if your heart is damaged, you can't replace. Well, you can replace it, but it's going to cost you.
Yes, no.
Yes, your lung is going to cost you. But now, if I tell you that making some certain decisions, changing some certain patterns. You know, people now, they'll say, oh, I'm hungry, I'm on the move, I can't wait for breakfast. Okay, but I'll grab a bottle of soda and a snack on the road, you know, because I don't have time to sit down for breakfast. You've made a choice. You've prioritized your time for your health.
How bad is that, buying a bottle of soda and a snack?
Oh, we know. I mean, research has shown the amount of, well, first of all, these sodas are empty calories, meaning that they have no nutrition, and so they add no value to your body. They're just giving you energy at a burst. And then another thing is that most of these, well, not even most, all of the sodas, they have a lot of sugars in them. And when you take these sugars, they cause a spike in your blood sugar. So your body has to produce what we call insulin to quickly mop up these sugars. And when you excessively take these sugars, over time, you are stressing that organ that is producing that insulin, so that with time it would give up, and then that's where people now develop diabetes. And then with that diabetes, you can, whatever you are earning, you have to take your medications if you want to live. Because if you don't take care of your diabetes, it's going to lead to conditions such as issues with the eye, issues with the
Me and Mokoto, because because if that look. Let's even remove a middle class family, because I realize I'm training a middle class family. Let's talk about class like family here, right? Daddy has to wake up. He lives at Awoyaya, and he's most likely a security guard or maybe an office admin. He opens the office on VI, you know. So he's leaving Awoyaya as early as 4:30 in the morning to beat the Shongotedo traffic and Abraham Adesanya traffic and Chisco traffic to get in on time, not only to open the gates, the doors, but also to clean the offices and get everything set for everyone to come. He most likely won't be able to grab breakfast until like 7:30, 8 o'clock when everyone is getting in. And when he decides to grab breakfast, most likely all of the restaurants that are around that area, because his highbrow are not opened yet, he is left to eat snacks. Are you saying that he has his choice?
Now let me explain.
You said I should pack food.
No, you know what I'm going to say.
Where's the food that is at home?
But to get to focus on the values of what you're trying to say now, is that these are the expenses, like you just that we're taking, and it's working against us when it comes to our health. Our diet, first of all, as Nigerians, we have very limited variety. It's either rice or eba, nothing else.
Now I'm going to pause you on that.
Yes,
people keep saying that we have limited varieties. Maybe it's because of the way I see
limited, affordable variety.
Now, when we say affordable, that term we need to change it, because you know why? If you have a medical condition, you will look for that money to address that issue. Even if you have to, I mean, we've heard of cases whereby people have to raise funds for the medical conditions they have. They didn't leave them to die, you know. So that's the thing. If you can quickly know that, okay, let me make these choices now in order to avoid these issues that will arise. Now, there are cases with men in their 50s, 60s that are developing prostate enlargement. If they had known that in their 30s, 40s, there are some medications, or sorry, not medications, there are some supplements, or there are some dietary lifestyles they would have implemented, it would have prevented, because cases of prostate enlargement is becoming high.
Let's focus on that now. So what choices did I make earlier that could cause me to have that kind of case of prostate enlargement? If you can give us some parallels between disease and how we might have inadvertently led ourselves to them?
Okay, so now I won't talk about prostrate because it's very, very wide.
Yeah, it's wide.
Yeah, it's wide, and of course we still don't know the cause. And then it's really, it occurs mostly in the black men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but we've discovered that there are some dietary lifestyles that if you imbibe by in your 30s, 40s, first of all, taking some supplements like zinc, discovered that the highest concentration of zinc is in the prostrate gland. Okay. So that has been shown that, okay, if you can increase your intake of zinc, because when the prostrate, anything that enlarges in the body is that it's trying to compensate for a deficiency.
So now let's relate that to the foods that we can eat to give us zinc. What would it be?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
Yes. Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Tomato, you know, tomato is a fruit.
Yes.
So you can eat it like a fruit, like the way you eat pineapple. And if you find that a bit overwhelming for you, you can make it into a salad. That's it. You see, you don't take things because you like it. You take it because you need it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the reason why I'm painting this picture, right? Because a mother is watching. This is a breakfast show, right? So a mother is watching. A picky eater. Mm-hmm. There are adults who are picky eaters as well, right? And who there's also the part of storage that is very important.
Yes.
All this that you're calling, they go bad very quickly.
Now, do you know that there's something I discovered because of, by virtue of my training, we discovered that a lot of things were what we call adaptive habits. A child didn't grow up liking sweets. Now, I understand from the angle of the picky eater, but there are some dietary lifestyle that we developed it over time. When our now I know that back in the day, in the 50s, 40s, we don't have the lifestyle that we have now then. But back in the day, they were very big on taking things natural from the source. Mm-hmm. But because of the kind of lifestyle we live now, yes, we are on the go, we need things to be done fast. But if we can just pick a time of the week to say, okay, everybody knows that there's somebody at the junction of the road that has slices of fruit. Mm-hmm. There's always somebody in the area.
A lifestyle choice.
So you have to decide. You know, it's difficult, as I might say, because it's a habit that you've inculcated over time. But you can always change it. If now, yes, you say your husband this, your children that, but now you hear that, okay, madam, you maybe go to the pediatrician and then your child has a cough and the doctor now says, oh, it's because you'll be giving your child that particular meal he likes. Won't you change?
Let's go there now. Thank you. This is where I was leading to. If for us it's a bit late, but we can still actually adopt new habits in terms of our diet. What about the kids? Parents these days grow up giving their children so much fast food and preservatives. What could that cause? And what adjustments should we make as parents so that our kids don't get to live these lives that we've led, where we have put into our bodies all these chemicals, preservatives that could cause us harm? What changes do we make now when it comes to diet for children?
Yeah. So first of all, as a parent, I know the risk that it involves when children are taking overly processed meals. It gives them high burst of energy, and it can lead to implications in their health. We have a lot of high tendency of children developing obesity, even in Nigeria now. These are things that were seen in first world developed countries, but we are now seeing them in children. So what I tell parents is, first of all, there shouldn't be a vacuum. So you can't say, if you're giving your child a certain kind of drink, processed drink, you can't just stop the drink. You have to bring in something new. And as you can see, you've seen the advent of smoothies, juicing, and you see them online. You've seen you have to find ways to be very experimental. Look at the child. Okay, does my child like pineapples? Okay, he likes pineapples. Okay, what can I add to pineapples that would make the child love the look? So maybe the child likes Ribena. Okay, sorry about that. Let's say the child likes a colored drink.
Very too late. Your invoice is waiting for you.
So let's say the child likes a particular drink. You can become innovative. Get beetroot with pineapple, cucumber.
Beetroot? This guy.
No. You know what? The thing is, now look at it this way.
I'm joking.
So that will change the color of the certain kind of drink the child will like. Or let's say you have your mangoes, you have your grapes. Just combine them and then juice them. Put them in the fridge. Yeah, now you go to, is there any electricity to store these things?
I've stopped. Because I've stopped. I'm not saying anything.
But still, the funniest thing is that we still have electricity. So mothers are very, very innovative. They find ways. That's how, when I was growing up, my mom, I loved white egg. My brother liked brown egg. The other one, but my mother was able to make. So mothers are very innovative. So if we can think and say, okay, this child, he doesn't like tomatoes, but this child likes carrots. Okay, how can I make this rice with cabbages, carrots, dice them? It seems difficult. My wife was somebody that loved giving, even though she's watching now, she used to love noodles, but I never liked noodles because I know that they're full of refined flour. So I said, okay, if I'm going to make noodles, let there always be cabbages, let there be green peppers, let there be spring onions in it, and she has adapted to it.
I have a cousin who's on the spectrum. If you serve them salad, they will they'll ask you for an extra plate, and they'll pick out all the veggies.
Now, I'm going to say something. Can I say something? Because of the nature of work I do, I've actually had, because my son had some allergies when he was growing up, so we had to experiment. He couldn't take gluten. And because he couldn't take gluten, he developed some deficiencies later in life. So that's one of the things that spawned me that, okay, thank God I knew as a pharmacist, because it was when we went for the test, when he was 2, we discovered that he was low in vitamin D due to his selective diet. So if parents can know that, so that selective diet can lead to deficiencies, you'll start to make those changes.
And that's what you've been doing with your endeavors. Thank you very much for the suggestions, the, very, very educated, because you are a pharmacist and you are into the food business, submissions that you've given on Wellness Central today. And I'm hoping that parents out there are going to take sample, and also for yourselves as well. It's not too late. It's not too late. So maybe you should change those habits and start eating healthy, even on a budget, because it will be much more expensive if it was a disease.
And also be innovative as well. It's very important that you stay innovative, just so, because eating healthy in this climate means innovation. So be innovative. Pretty much all we can take. Ifedayo,
thank you very much.
Appreciate you.